If you need spoilers, go away. I mean, yes, stay. Spoilers are good.
And welcome. Hello,
Welcome.
my name is Jacob. And with me are Phil and Tim. Philip and Timothy.
Greetings.
Philip, say hello.
Greetings.
Tim, say hello.
Say hello. What have I done? I've pressed some buttons,
What
but
I do?
I'm here.
What did I do? Did I do anything?
Octofat.
Nice.
Welcome to Fold Podcast. Fold.
Podcast.
Podcast.
We fold
Excellent.
you twice.
We fold you like a nice napkin. You just go slip in the napkin and
You can slip in the
the
napkin.
nice lunch napkin.
I'll have to slip in my napkin.
That's horrible.
Let me slip you.
Let me slip you in my napkin.
Stop. Okay, that was bad.
Welcome, welcome to the show.
Okay, enough.
With me are the boys and me.
The boys are here.
Welcome, boys.
The boys are back in town.
What is this intro? What is happening?
And today we're
Why not? Let's do something interesting.
We're talking about-
This is something for a change. You know what I found out? Sorry, I don't want to
I
interrupt
love change, Phil. Thank you
but-
for joining me in the change.
Okay, cool.
Go.
I don't want to
up,
interrupt you, but
Obama?
what I noticed was that sometimes we think we did something new, and then I listened to a podcast that we did a couple of months before, and we did the exact same thing. So we did.
Oh, yeah.
something
We
new.
just
That's-
repeated.
So now I'm
why
interrupting
I-
you, and this is probably a first. I interrupted you. I interrupted everybody, and we're happy. We're all happy.
Listen, guys,
Everyone's happy.
this is when I watch a movie, and you know when you're with a group of people and you comment on a movie. The craziest thing is that you usually, at least in my experience, I usually make the same comments.
Oh yeah,
What
yeah.
does that
no.
mean? What
movie.
does that mean? What does that mean?
That means that, for instance, example, we recorded a couple of commentaries on movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say the
Yes,
three of
yes.
us. Let's just pretend. Hypothetical. We record a commentary where we're joking, talking about the movie, right? Let's say that's that. Great. And then let's say you would roll that commentary back to us and we hit play. We watch ourselves commenting on the movie. There's a high probability of me saying the identical comment at the identical time for the
It's
movie.
true. It's true.
And then
It's
you're
so
like
true.
embarrassed beyond death. Even if you were in the same room, just by yourself watching that, you would be
Tim's looking at
embarrassed
his
to death.
watch. What do you think? Our speeches are
Is
boring? Or
everything
something?
okay, Tim?
Yeah. No, just as I said, we have a new CEO in my work, and there's a lot of reorg, and some colleagues, some past colleagues of mine that were just writing to me of all the
Stinky.
crazy.
No, but they're not getting fired, are they?
No one's getting fired. It's just lots of crazy rearrangements. Some what is that word? Unforeseen,
Expected.
unforeseen events. No, what's the idiom?
Unforeseen events.
Unforeseen events. I think there's another one.
You mean idiom?
Yeah, what I call it?
Idiom.
Adium.
Idiom.
You remember Adium though? That was the chat client on Mac for AIM and MSN.
Yeah, I remember.
I can't think. The
Adium.
unforeseen. What are you looking for? Unforeseen consequences.
No, because it's not consequence. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Just some
Foregone
interesting,
conclusion.
interesting developments.
The interesting developments.
People who
Tim's
were
work.
here, and then they were here, and now they're down here, and some people up.
Some are up there.
Reminds
some are
me of our
down there.
Papa John's convo. CEO
Oh, our Papa John's
Papa John,
convo.
Papa
Papa John
the
the
racist.
Yeah.
I don't think he's racist. But,
Anyway, so I
let's keep
remember
going.
listening to a commentary that we did, and I would mention something, and then my commentary self would mention something when
Exactly.
I show it to
and
Jake
it's
or
super.
something.
It's beyond embarrassing when you hear yourself say the same things. So we're changing things up tonight. Big night.
Let's hope so.
Big night in the works. Big twofold ep, hosted by yours truly.
Yes.
And today we're
the
talking
Jake
about
episode.
a motion picture. And the motion picture in question is I like Phil. You're like in embarrassment, covering your face. You're like, this is a train wreck.
No.
And-
No. I'm just. I do that a lot. I just kind of wipe my face.
You want that corona.
Hey
in
guys, I
your
have a
eyes.
question.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that.
Do you guys wash your face before going to bed?
I am. I should be. and I have not done it in a while.
It should be.
Yeah.
I recently started, and it's been great.
Oh, good. That's
New
good.
Jake
That's
from the
good.
Space Watch.
It's
A new
I feel
man,
fresh.
so to speak.
It's good. It's a good thing to do. It's just, I'm just one of
Yeah,
those
I know.
people that I don't like nighttime routines. I like morning routines, but nighttime is
Oh,
like
I
to
hate
me,
nighttime routines.
it's like
I hate both morning
like
and
I
night.
brush the teeth because that one's, you got to do that one. But everything else, if I can just pull off my pants, if I could just go
You're right.
naked and go sleep,
Tell me about it.
just a moment, you're doing
Yes.
something and you're like, that's it.
Zoom.
I'm going to bed. Take off your clothes and fall asleep.
Tim,
That's
you
the
know
best.
that you know the moment. Let's say if you're watching a movie or a show or something where you're super tired, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you know when you're falling asleep, and you just wish, if only I could just have gone through all the routines and just in bed.
Yeah,
Do you know how
'cause then you're like,
beautiful that would be?
Gonna go brush your teeth, and then you need to find a toothbrush. So you turn on the
then
light,
you
it's
wake up.
neon, and it wakes you up, and then you're like sitting in bed thinking about your life, and you're
And
like,
then if you have a cat, scoop the poops, put it in the bag,
Scoop the poop.
lock the door, turn off the multitude of lights.
yeah,
I think the biggest problem is those phones. You got to take care of those phones. Don't bring
You
them
mean
to
what,
bed.
plugging
with you.
them in and stuff?
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't keep my phone next to my. This is the good thing about working from
Nice.
home because of COVID-19, is that I don't have to wake up at a certain time to go to work and do all the things. Technically, it doesn't really matter because I'll wake up by 7 or 8 max because my daughter will wake up, so I'll be up.
No, true.
So I don't need the phone to wake me up. So the phone I usually leave charging out of the room. So I'm not bothered in the evening. I'm not bothered in the morning. I have to get up to do something.
So here's a question.
That's
We're all
good.
three here.
That's good.
Confession
That's
time.
well good.
Do you guys look at your phone before bed? In bed?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I can't do that anymore.
You don't.
No more.
Nice.
I don't look at my
Phil?
phone.
I do.
I look at my
I'm an
iPad.
addict.
It's even bigger.
I'm an addict.
For both eyes.
There you go. Nice. No, I'm an
I
addict.
have a bad sleep. Look, I'll let the world know. My sleep schedule not good. I take my iPad and I watch videos until I'm so tired I can't hear even what they're saying. I have a timer
Sun is
that
rising
switches.
at that point.
I have a timer, and the timer switches off the iPad after a certain amount of time, and I just lose consciousness and fall asleep.
Okay, you guys don't have to participate in this, but I'm going to publicly share my screen time analytics from my iPhone. And I'm curious if anyone online listening to this show wants to share. We can compare. My screen time has gotten way out of hand. I'm at a daily average of 5 hours and 7 minutes.
Well, I'm curious to see what mine is. Wait, is this your phone or your computer and phone together?
Phone,
Okay.
just phone. So 5 hours, 7 minutes a
Okay.
week average.
Why doesn't stupid?
Today was good, 2.5 hours.
Let's see. Screen time.
What's yours? Week average.
Daily average.
Yeah, daily average.
2 hours.
Nice, dude.
2 hours
You're
and
not
10
addicted.
minutes. It's updating as I speak. 2 hours and 10 minutes. This is a week. This is a week. Can I see like a larger?
No, sadly. I think it only
No.
does weekly.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, actually, man. That's pretty good. Because my daily average used to be like around there, like 2.5, maybe 3. It's just gone through the roof. Who knows why? Anyway,
My
we're
daily
watching-
average seems to
What
be
you looking at? What you looking at? If I may ask. I mean, I don't know. If
Oh
this is
yeah.
getting
So
too-
honestly, I go through just a stupid cycle of Instagram. I then open Twitter.
Oh, don't go to Twitter. Twitter's a shit show.
I know. It's not good for my health. I'm telling you.
I think
it's bad.
to me personally, like I can handle Instagram because I have accounts that I follow that are just artists and people I know. So it's not that bad for me. Facebook is just hilarious. That's just I go there for
Facebook, honestly,
entertainment.
I don't go very much, but when I click, I just realize like, there's like nothing to see here. I looked through 5 posts.
That's
and I'm
exactly
just
how
like,
I feel, too.
That was interesting.
Facebook, you open the door and you're like, huh, nothing in here.
But
Close the door.
No.
Yeah.
But Twitter's
And
the
so
worst.
then, I don't know.
I think
Twitter,
Twitter
man.
to
Twitter-
me is
Okay, I have a different relationship with Twitter, but you can
Because
go.
yours is like art Twitter or something. It's like art world.
That's what I'm going
Well,
to
you have,
say.
like,
I follow.
Twitter. You have
I follow
conversations.
people. I don't have conversations that much. That's the other thing. I just post my art and I read other people's posts and retweets, and they're all little fun memes, animation samples,
That sounds good.
artwork. It's been all that, and of course, people retweet political stuff and everything. But I don't let it get to me because I don't get a lot of that. I just kind
Okay,
of,
so I agree with Phil. Like my personal Twitter, like if I look at what I'm following, it's pretty just a couple of celebrities of like some updates, and then a couple of people I know that post stuff and they're completely ignored by everyone. And then we get comments from Frank and some people on the podcast. I go check out
Frank's
that.
amazing.
But the thing is though, Tim, I don't think you were ever like a big Twitter guy.
No. I never liked the medium. It was just weird to me, like stupid text messages.
I loved it
Twitter.
before, but
I was never a Twitter guy.
It's a disaster.
I didn't want Twitter.
No, it was great.
I never
before.
wanted it. I never wanted Twitter, but then Jacob or someone encouraged me to get Twitter.
I started Twitter because the thing was, I remember a long time ago when Twitter was like starting. I remember I was seeing everyone join Twitter and it was like really cool. And I remember
guess who joined
Stan
as well?
Was like
Stan.
Yeah, Stan.
He's
our
everywhere.
Cousin, well, your brother, but Phil and I's cousin. He like instantly went on Twitter, and it was like back in the day when Twitter you couldn't even embed photos and stuff, post photos. You'd have the link to like those services like TinyPic and stuff like that, and that's where Instagram was born, right? Because Instagram was a lot of people I think don't know that. That's like, it was a link. Yeah, it was a link that you link to Twitter. You tweet the link and it sends you to Instagram.
Interesting.
And then later, that's where it started. And there was like that cool photo filter, like old camera style, and people would take artsy photos, and it was kind of artistic. Like you can be an artistic photographer.
Those are some crappy filters.
Yeah, back in the day, but it was fun. No, but the whole reason was that you used a crappy camera on your phone, and it would kind of like mask the crappiness with a filter, which was actually clever.
It looked
concept.
vintage.
Anyways, I wanted to say that then I always thought to myself, like, man, it'd be so cool to join Twitter, but I made a rule for myself. I thought it's kind of lame to join Twitter and you don't have a phone to tweet from, because it's like that's the whole point why they kind of made Twitter.
Oh yeah, you could from your phone like send a text message and it'll be tweeted.
Yeah, that was original times. But then I was thinking to myself, like, it's super lame to like sign up for a Twitter account and then what? You go to your desktop computer and you like tweet? I don't know. To me, that seemed weird. And so I thought, I'll only join Twitter if I ever get a smartphone. And then in 2014, when I got a smartphone, I was like, that's when I joined Twitter. And that's why I then Phil later, which actually, by the way, Phil, I'm pretty sure that's good for your business and all that stuff that I did get you on Twitter. Because remember back then you were like on Facebook only. And then when I got you on Twitter, then you started...
Yeah, grandma's.
So anyway, what I wanted to say was that I liked Twitter for a time because I followed like a select set of people, and it was very like thoughtful and interesting and nice. But then like over time, it just seemed like there's this big shift in the pool that I follow, and everything just turned into very like stuff you would never hear people say in person, but they're happy to tweet about, and political and
stuff
stupid
you would never hear people to say in person. That's interesting. You guys follow like celebrities and stuff. I don't follow any like famous person on Twitter.
It's not conventional. I follow Taika Waititi. Like he posts some like it's not like somebody who's super active on Twitter. Like here's the thing. Like I never liked Twitter because of the whole idea seems like
it's silly.
Room for miscommunication. Like you cannot say something valuable within those two. It'll always derive into, like kind of misconception and vagueness because you have so limited, like even with SMSs, there's so much subtext lost because you have to be so direct with like such a small message. And that's what it evolved to. Here's my opinion. I think the only reason why Twitter is successful is because it was the first social media where they had verified celebrities. That's the only reason why Twitter works.
You don't think it's because
it's a dumb platform, in my opinion. It's a dumb platform.
Yeah, I would disagree.
Why? You think the platform why people use it?
No, I think it's a combination. Like the checkmark thing for sure had helped it like, get into the stratosphere of social media. But the funny thing is Twitter isn't even that popular of a social media network in terms of like, I think that the Twitter's growth is pretty much stopped. I think they haven't had new accounts in like 4 or 5 years or something. And pretty much most of Twitter is just like the United States and kind of English speaking countries.
But like as far as mainstream, I would say
but
Twitter
mainstream, it does have influence.
Like if you look at like
huge influence.
If it goes to like normal media, like there's been some drama or someone said something, it's always Twitter. It's not Facebook, it's not Instagram, it's not TikTok. It's always something on Twitter is happening. Somebody's old tweets are coming up, or someone's being arguing on Twitter.
It is. No, I agree with you. I'm saying.
I was like, if you look at like more popular, like bigger, like names, so like if you look at someone politics, I mean, okay, we're not going to talk about the president of the United States and Twitter. That's
a whole other category.
But if you look at some politicians, right, like AOC, right, the congresswoman, and if you look at a post of hers, like saying something, her. If you look down, it's just immediate hate.
Oh, like, yeah, man. You have no idea. There's no reason
thousands of hate. Like,
it goes on both sides. That's the whole point. The point isn't that it doesn't matter who it is. The problem is that you have people on Twitter who, I'm telling you, they espouse like things, they put out words which you would never hear them say in real life. Like, you wouldn't go up to someone and be like, I hate you. Like, you wouldn't say that. And but they're happy writing on Twitter.
In the format, because it's so short. Like, if you look at the same culture on Facebook or on YouTube, right? It's a long-ass post, somebody writing a whole paragraph of like, what is wrong and everything. That just compresses into Twitter as like, I hate you, you are the devil,
Yes.
It's just like people shouting at each other.
Yeah,
instead of having like
tell you why I didn't agree with you earlier was that you said that it's like that it's like failed, it's like doomed to fail instantly because of the premise. I don't agree with that. I think that as a premise, it's actually a really interesting idea, but the thing is that it all hinges upon how you use it. So when someone uses it well, then you get amazingly thoughtful, great tweets, might be interesting. If you look at it from like a personal point of view, you might, throw up your opinions that you have that, don't have to be political. They can just be something normal. And it's cool. It's like that's what I'm telling you. That's why I liked Twitter before, because 4 or 5 years ago, I followed a certain set of people, and I would scroll through them. I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. That's a cool point. That's an interesting link. That's nice.
But that's got nothing to do with the fact that it's a short. I think that has, like, if you can link things, or you can link to something bigger, like, it's not. That has nothing to do with the shortage of the message. That's what every social media does. But
you would write like a little blurb about it. You would say 3 sentences, 2 sentences about that, right? And I think that if you used well, it made you think, because it made you think about what you want to say if you're using it well. But I don't think
no one's going to use it well.
Twitter, you can do that anywhere.
I know,
but you can be short,
limited on Twitter, which is cool. Like, you're limited automatically. So it's like you have to think about what you want to say before you tweet it. No one
does that though anymore.
But no, a lot of people do that. But I'm saying that, but you're right. The majority of people don't do that. And that's where it derailed, because then you start to get into this ridiculousness and then also people breaking the format in terms of like just this, what are those called?
They do threads.
Yes. Threads. It's like, that's what I'm saying. It's got nothing to do with like the platform, because even people, like, when you are limited to such a thing, you have to compress, and you have to, it's like clickbait, right? It's like titles of YouTube videos. You have to convey so much in such a short time. It always devolves into, and I'm talking about like the mainstream. I'm talking about the big, not like, outliers on the side, some a designer using, a thing. But it's like, even them, they have to still rely on, okay, I have to, if I want to capture these people, I have to be super direct. And then to me personally is like a recipe for disaster, because you're always trying to catch people, catch their attention, like I'm not, like, I know people use clickbait videos and clickbait thumbnails and everything, and I know it works, but I still don't like it, I still think it's like, we shouldn't be like, everyone's like, oh, it works, I use it, I get more views, what's the harm in it? And I'm just like, okay, fine, but really, do we need to devolve into this madness? Couldn't we find a better way,
Well, yeah, I think that then taps into the whole problem of, in general, how we use the internet and what we're accustomed to in our short attention spans and all that stuff, which is a whole different topic.
I use Twitter for posting my drawings.
That's good. I think you're using Twitter well. I used to use Twitter more,
just complain about silly things that people can laugh about, and that's about it.
That's good.
The self-deprived humor of Philip with little drawings of him being sad.
I think you stop. I think, Phil, you have
give it a little,
decreased that by like 2% maybe. But I would like to see like an 89% decrease in the self-depreciation.
So who do you
be good?
Okay, we'll talk about the movie that Jacob. By the way,
I was going to say, who's a big Twitter user? Who's the big Twitter user?
I'm not logged into
Daniel Craig. No, he doesn't.
You know
follow
who the
Twitter.
big Twitter user is in
Yes,
this film?
the director of this film.
Rian Johnson.
Oh yeah, Ryan Johnson. Yeah,
Ryan
He's
exactly.
just
Johnson, the
twittering all over the place, but he
Twitter
deleted his Twitter. Did you know that?
Well,
No.
probably good for him because maybe they can't
After
dig
Star
up his
Wars?
tweets now.
No. Just 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Pfft, whatever.
But he did, wiped all the tweets.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, I was
Everything's gone.
thinking. Speaking of the
It's
last
gone.
comment on Twitter is that if you think about it, it probably is the wisest to just wipe all your old tweets. I remember there used to be this
Wait.
automated service.
Didn't we want to say who you follow? Is that what you wanted to say?
I think Tim wanted to talk about that.
No, I just want to. We're gonna go to that, but I don't know if that's very interesting. But
No, I don't think it's very interesting.
yeah, I was just looking at who do I was just some designers. I have some friends, some companies for some reason I follow.
Yeah,
It's
nice.
It's pretty barren.
Yeah, I don't think
I
you're
just-
ever super into it.
I just follow artists that I like. I try to follow artists that are good, that have very little following. So if they post something really good, I can retweet it.
Here's the thing. Ooh, Spotify for podcasters.
I'm a supportive
custom
boy.
HTML formatting is now supported. But
Oh,
Not for us, is it?
yeah, it is for us as well.
Oh, cool. Okay.
What
Did
I
you
wanted
wanna
to
say
say.
something, a final note before we go?
Yeah. Final. What's your? How's the difference between following words, following artists on Instagram versus Twitter? For you, Phil.
I think Instagram is
Well, for me, for me, Instagram. Okay, this is the difference. For me, this is a good example. Twitter followers versus Instagram followers. Instagram followers feel like Japanese yen, and Instagram and Twitter followers feel like
the American dollar.
euros. Yeah.
Oh, euros.
So for every
That's true,
120
actually.
Oh, okay. So
followers on Instagram, you get that's one follower on Twitter because it seems
That's
like
so true.
one person has a harder time with one or the other.
Well, I
It's
think
like
also
this-
still to that point is that I think a lot of Instagram, when you get followers on Instagram, it feels like it's coming from the junkie pile, you know?
Yes.
That it's true because there's so many either fake accounts or stupid accounts or barren accounts,
or it's
Where-
for accounts that just disappear.
like for like
Yeah,
accounts,
yeah.
you know, or some shams. But Twitter, you do surprisingly get more consistency with there'll be
Yes,
someone
that's
who
what I think
actually
so.
uses the Twitter account and they'll have 1,000 tweets, which is that's pretty active, you know?
Yeah.
You'll rarely find some Twitter accounts 20 tweets.
That being said, the interactivity with Instagram is instantaneous, and therefore it feels like most of the stuff to me just kind of is hard to remember. I'm just scrolling through it and just liking all of my friends' posts that I find. You know what I mean?
too much, right?
I
Yeah.
actually still I think one of my favorite things still are stories. I like those on Instagram.
The stories are nice.
Yeah. All right, that was the mandatory Jake introduction, and thank you for listening to Twofold Podcast.
You're welcome.
I think we could
Yeah.
end here. That would be nice, a little podcast.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that it's weird that I get
more.
more followers on Twitter, but I have a hard time on Instagram. It's weird. They're just totally different.
I think, yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm not a master of Twitter, so maybe
I'm
there's
a master
masters of
of
Twitter
none.
out there.
I'm not a master of
social
Instagram.
medias.
Why is Philip in Thorland with his Dutch angle?
I was wondering you'd comment about my Dutch angle today.
I was excited for a
Cool.
second. I thought
We're
that we
changing
could
it
change our
up.
backgrounds, like Zoom.
Yes.
Dutch angle.
Okay, so what are we doing here today? Well, we have a movie to talk about, and
Yes.
the movie is by
The sequel to Scott
Twitter
Pilgrim, Knives
maestro Rian Johnson.
Maestro.
Did you see the sequel to
Ryan
Scott
Johnson.
Pilgrim? This is a motion picture
Knives
called
Short,
Knives
whatever.
Out. Now, Knives Out is a movie that was released last year. It came out at the end of the year.
2019 just
and
drags us back.
The reason why it was selected was because
Tim is shaking his head.
I was browsing the movies to watch, and I was thinking, my boys, help me pick a movie. And my boys, they linked me to,
My boys.
new DVD releases. What am I, 70? New on video releases, a list, and I was thinking to myself, I want to see something on Netflix. I want to see something on something streaming. Nothing good out there. So I saw this movie and I was like, you know what? We didn't watch this movie when it came out. I'm thinking now it's fresh on video. So
you
can
didn't watch it. I
freshly watch it. Tim watched it.
Tim watched it.
But since Tim wasn't replying because he wasn't on the chat group looking at his phone, we couldn't get a hold of him. So we just watched the movie.
Okay.
And then we're back.
Let me take
because I messaged you but you didn't reply. So I was sad.
Oh man, this is a great episode.
let me take the veil and a little bit.
But I did my duty
and put it like aside. Let's get the people know. I mean, there's only a few listeners, so it's okay. Who cares? So here's the idea. So originally, the idea for this podcast was we watched two movies. One that's released now, so it's something that people would be interested, and take an old movie that's somehow related and compare them. And I did this for the reason one,
that was the premise.
It was an interesting premise that I haven't seen done before. And second, it will give us an interesting conversation. Instead of just watching one movie and just talking about it, it gives you two movies to compare. Now, unfortunately, that didn't turn out so well. I mean,
well, the biggest problem is that we never talked about like the actual bridge, like the differences and what the movies, what relation the movies have. We talked about one movie, and then we had the second movie.
It needs.
You like the old format.
It takes a lot more effort. You can't just sit down. You have to, it's more of a preparation. You have to think about the two movies, how they're connected. Because it doesn't have to be one-to-one relation. Okay, use this camera. It could be 1,000 things. So it's a little bit more advanced than what we usually do, which is sit down and talk. So that didn't work out. And then COVID-19 happened. We couldn't go to cinema, so we kind of opted down to, okay, let's just watch whatever the newest movie is.
One movie.
And we failed at that as well.
But no, it didn't fail. There was many movies you watched.
Yeah, but now we're back here. We're just choosing. So I'm going to say, because I was the originator of this, and I'm tired. I can't withhold these rules anymore. I can't do this anymore. So the new rules are, whatever, one of you just pick one movie for the episode, whatever it is. It can be old, new, I don't give a shit anymore, and we'll just watch it.
This is good. I like these new rules.
This is
unfortunately,
incredible.
it's not marketable,
This is
so
good.
we won't get any new listeners. but
But I don't think we are getting any new listeners.
it is what it is.
No, we can do it. Don't worry. I'll help.
There's 1,000 of these podcasts.
I'll
But
help. I'll help you.
The point was for us three to have a podcast that we can get onto and we can talk on a regular basis. I tried to make it more special and more advanced, but unfortunately, we're not capable of that. So we're just gonna chill.
I blame
Tim,
the COVID times.
Are you mad, Tim, or are you just sad?
I'm sad. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest. But
You're disappointed.
But what you gonna do? That's.
Are you disappointed at us or yourself? Or
all three of us. Because here's the thing. I'm not equally. The thing is that the point was, like I said, for us to have a regular podcast so we can talk, because we all love doing this, right? Yeah.
But we're doing it.
Yes, but also it was good to have something that's unique and something that we can, that's something that's marketable, something that people can go, oh, that is the podcast when they compare to movies. We lost that.
I know.
We're just back to chillage, which is also fine. I try to keep it up. It's been a year. But I gave myself a year, and I was like, okay, relax. We'll let the go with the flow. We'll see what happens.
I feel sad. I feel this big weight of guilt.
Look, it's
a burden of guilt.
You can't make things that are not going to be. If that's how I feel and that's what I like. Too. I can't make you to go that way. That's okay.
Exactly. I think that goes for all three of us. Like for some of us, 2 movies is difficult. It's a difficult task, So I think it just, it all depends.
We have to find common ground. Am I disappointed? Yes. Am I going to keep doing this? Yes. It's we're in this together.
This is an interesting episode. This is a confessional. See, Jake brings out the confession.
We did shake
everyone.
it up.
So I think that
it up.
At least I can get some credit for that.
Yeah. So what you gonna do?
I'm not just pure movie. See, I go deep.
You go deep in 2019. so give us what's I watched when it came out. Knives Out in the cinema.
Now I feel a bit bad talking about the movie. I don't know how I can talk about the movie.
And then I
talk about it.
And then I watched it recently with my wife because she didn't get to go to cinema because we had a baby. So when it came out on video on demand, which was like a couple of months ago, we watched it.
Yeah.
again. So I've seen it again. I didn't rewatch it for this podcast because I've seen it twice.
Wait, sorry, I missed it. I was thinking about the podcast. You watched it?
I watched it in the cinemas originally when it came out.
Alone?
Yeah, no, I went with my nieces because they wanted to see it,
Ah.
and then I wanted to see it as well. It looked very interesting. And then I seen it with my wife when it came out on home release. I didn't want to rewatch it for the third time for this podcast, but I have it in recent memory.
Okay.
So tell us,
Knives
Jacob.
Out.
So you're already a well-versed man in Knives Out.
Yes, I've seen it twice. Yes.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you came prepared.
Talk about the movie, Jacob.
What do you want me to say? I feel bad.
The premise.
So talk about the movie. Tell us the premise.
Well, a murder happens in modern times in a family that is very wealthy.
Okay.
A detective
And?
is hired by an unknown person to investigate the murder. Our main character is surprisingly the helper of the family who gets wrapped up in this mystery. And she has to find out what to do. And that is the premise.
Murder mystery. Helper is tied up.
Yep.
Oh man,
That's accurate.
Yep.
It's very accurate.
This is Knives Out came out 3 years ago.
That's
no,
right.
I'm kidding. I'm
so
joking. Teasing.
the spoiler is
Oh yeah, Philip. Spoiler.
Spoilers. Okay.
No, come on. They did more Philip in there.
If you need spoilers, go away. I mean, yes, stay. Spoilers are good. I'm gonna clap.
stay. Yeah, so guys, that's the plot.
That's a good
I want
plot.
to say the spoiler is that
What-
she actually did accidentally murder the main
The main character.
rich author.
She didn't.
She accidentally.
She thought she
That's
did.
right. She didn't. She thought she did.
She killed. No, but he killed himself.
That's right. But we were led to believe for most of the film that she did kill him.
Yeah.
Until the old
twist on the
switcheroo.
twist.
So yeah.
What drawn you to this movie when you were looking at the
trailers?
recent DVD releases?
Well,
what spoke
What
to
spoke
you?
to me was
Jacob?
that it had a high Rotten Tomatoes rating, which was good.
Really? You
On the list.
really? That's what you
Yeah,
look
'cause-
at. High Rotten Tomatoes
Well,
ratings.
no. See, I knew someone would say that.
Those red
That's
tomatoes.
false. I
Tomatoes.
never look at ratings. But this time I did. And you know why?
What was that line?
Because I
from?
didn't want to be in a
Tomatoes.
situation where
I
we have
lost
to
you.
watch a movie at the podcast. And I thought, okay, you can either watch something horrible, which is like terrible, and that's can be a really high chance of you watching something that's terrible but boring, right?
Yes.
Wasn't in the mood for that. Or you can watch something in the middle, which is arguably the worst. Because that's just like
True.
boring and nothingness, and you just spend 2 hours.
It depends on the genre, though.
Depends on the genre. Okay.
Maybe.
There's some genre like that. Everything's just in that middle, and it's like you can get like it never goes higher because if critics don't like horror and
We
comedy.
watched a recent movie, didn't we, on Twofold that was like that. Sort of like Old Guard, maybe.
Old Guard.
Middle of the
like-
road.
Well, like there's there's definitely genres where middle of the road is like a signal for garbage, but there's genres that just never get really higher ratings because of what the genre are.
Oh,
they're
that's what
always
you
in that
mean.
Middle. You know, they're always in the middle, so you have to. It's a little bit.
I know
tricky,
Jacob's
you know?
not talking about middle of the road ratings. He's talking about middle of the road impressions when you're
That's
watching.
right, not
it.
ratings, impressions of the movie, like
Oh, okay.
quality of the film.
Sorry, you cut off there for a second. So I
Oh, no,
was-
that's okay. So that was the options. I was thinking, I didn't
We
want to get
really
in any of those
looked. Me and Jacob were
situations.
hanging out for real, and
That's
we were
true.
looking, and
for reals.
we were looking, and there was like, I was like, I kind of want to watch Knives Out. I haven't seen it.
That's right.
Like,
and
it's
I
a
looked
good
at the
movie.
po-
I mean,
I looked at the
enjoyed
poster,
it.
and I also saw like a trailer a while ago when it came out. And I was thinking to myself, I mean, that looks like an interesting. I need to stop saying that word. An entertaining movie.
I know you
'Cause
watched.
we ordered pizza.
Yeah, we saw but we
you
also saw
wanna,
the
eat
trailers when
and
the movie
watch.
was coming out too.
Saw the trailers exactly.
We're gonna watch it for
and
real.
that's what drew me to that.
Yeah.
And because I also couldn't find anything, like I just couldn't. I just couldn't do it.
I know.
And that's why we're here. you know. And I knew, Tim, you'd be disappointed. I knew it. As soon as I looked at the poster and the year, I knew it would disappoint you and sadden you. I knew it in my heart. But at the same time, I had to make a stand for myself and to, you know, just pick whatever, you know, because I didn't want to just watch a movie that was just because it was new, we have to watch it, you know, because then we can become slaves of our own creation.
What if there were some really mediocre movies and we have to watch them?
Exactly. I can't do that. I can't live at 27 having to watch something that I just don't want to watch, you know? That's what motivated me.
That's the difference. Like I don't mind, you know, watching garbage or mediocre stuff because
yes, exactly. You don't mind as much. I don't mind if it's in the context. Let's say if all three of us were chilling out, you know, and we got ourselves some beersies, you know, and we're like, let's watch this. Probably be fun. Yeah. But when I'm alone in front of the television, not so fun.
Just on your phone, and then you have 6 hours of
screen time. Screen time
because of the TWOFOLD movies.
Maybe it could be. Yeah.
You know what I was thinking about today? It was funny. I was reading the articles about working remotely, and it was like, you know, there were some comments and like, what are the pros of working remotely? What are the cons? Obviously, you know, like having the collaboration thing, it's hard. You know, you can't read people's emotions. And I was like, I'm actually like, there's definitely things I miss about working with people, but I was like, I really don't. I'm kind of like handling it pretty well. Like I have no trouble communicating through people. Then I realized we've been basically working from home, like us three collaborating for entire life. Like everything we've done,
maybe
music,
that's why you're so good.
Podcast, everything we've done through chats. Like we see each other maybe once or twice a year.
That's right. But I've only recently upgraded to video chat. That's like a recent thing.
Actually, now that you're mentioning it,
like
it's a little alarming, don't you think?
Why is it scary? I think it's interesting.
Like we didn't so much. Like me and Jake made records over
the chat. No, and if you would have seen our original chats of how we communicated musically, we would be like, the blah, blah, blah part should be the dun 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 part. And I'm like, yep, got
the dun dun dun, huh?
The dun dun dun.
I think maybe that's why you don't mind, Tim. And maybe that's why I also don't seem to mind so much.
Yeah, due to circumstance, you know, pre-COVID-19, that we didn't never live in the same place.
And surprisingly, by the way, I think that video chat has gotten a little better. And I mean, I don't really mind so much like not conference calls with multiple people, but one-on-one calls, like the video and audio. I mean, it's not horrible. It's definitely not the same, but it's still like you can, if you are prepared and you know what to do, you communicate and you wait and you leave the buffer period until they reply.
Absolutely.
Because of the canceling out. But that's really interesting that you noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like you. What I would really want to do at one point in this show, whatever podcast thing is, pull up we used to have these production discussion emails with me and Phil when we were like 12 and 13.
Yes,
man,
they're so good.
Those brilliant to read.
I don't think any of those movies that we talked about, we actually made.
No, not at all.
Because there were some movies because you guys started making movies and then I started making movies and we wanted to do these joint productions.
Yes.
Yeah, by the way, this is funny. Just so I can say something. So Phil had this, we talked about this, but really briefly, just to context. Phil had this company, fake company, called PD Works, and then I was the mandatory actor,
the frequent collaborator.
Pretty much, I was just like pulled, like, hey, you're my brother, you have to act in these movies. And at the beginning, it was all well and good, and now I enjoyed it, right? But then through the years, just couldn't handle it anymore. Anyway, but this is funny though, because we had this little company. We made these short movies, but then Tim over here was making his own movies too, under his company called Laundry Incorporated. But Tim was, since you didn't have like a sibling or something to do it with, you would do it solo or with your cousins or someone else, friends. Yeah. And you had like, you would make these short micro movies, right?
Yeah, they were micro.
We would like always trying to make these feature length. And then we would have these collaborations where it's funny because looking back, it should have been just three of us or you two, coming together as, people, as like cousins, like we're going to do something together. But instead, in our minds, we had these corporations, collaborating, and then we just pretended we had contracts.
The scenes and interviews and this whole elaborate,
by the way, I want to tell you a secret that I also had this weird like image of, I never liked honestly that much the fakery. Like I always wanted to be more.
No,
like,
yeah,
open
people had
and
a problem with
just
my
sit down and make a
fakeries.
movie.
Yeah,
And Phil took the fakery like super far, you know.
I took it pretty far.
But I think, but Tim, you were also into the fakery too for a little bit. I mean,
I think the
to a
fakery.
degree.
It was like, I think it was like similar to you, as it was like a fun thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the fakery stuff. Like I like, you know, like the obviously, like, you know, like my movie making stuff, it was like inspired by seeing what you guys did. Like I didn't do it prior until see like, oh, I can do that. So a lot of the elements of like having a company name and having credits and all this nonsense, you know, came from like inspired like what Phil did. But I think like the behind the scenes, like it was just like, it's basically the podcast, you know, it's just us riffing on it.
Because I remember, my secret is, I remember like when we were doing those movies, then when we had like you know, coming in to do Laundry Inc., I remember I always felt like this weird like creative tensions, you know, not between me, because I wasn't so involved in the creative stuff, like the scripts and the stories. I honestly didn't like get into that. But Phil and Tim would be the, you know, the creative differences were like so powerful.
Oh yeah,
because it was like kids, and you know, Phil was like, "This is what I want to do," and Phil wouldn't explain why he wants to do it like that.
That was a problem.
But Tim would be like, "No, it's not how it's supposed to go. This is what you're making a crappy movie. You have to make it like this." You know, 'cause you watch all these garbage action movies. I watch all this art. I know better. You know, that's how it was.
Yeah,
I think the it went like this is basically Phil had an idea in his head, but he wouldn't tell anyone about it.
No,
And then if you would
squeeze it out of me.
You know, if you would
Like a
like
gusher.
oppose or like show a different idea, you would either
threaten,
succumb to it and be like, okay, let's do this, or you would just withdraw, and there was no Phil for a while until we would be like, okay, let's do it.
Right.
Like there was no like a creative differences discussion.
Oh man, really?
but that'd be
There
great.
was never a discussion. It was just like, it was
That's
like
what I'm trying to
weird
tell you.
kids.
But I believe that not only was it like a personal thing that was a problem, but I think it was also maybe even because we like looked at this stuff like some companies. It's like ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. And we're 12, 13,
Honestly,
14.
I can't believe it.
I don't think the companies, like in the creative process, I don't think the company stuff kind of was in it. I think it was just us not
Oh, maybe you're right.
not knowing how to creatively communicate and collaborate. Like,
Yep.
But you know, Tim, that took years. I remember when we
It
used to
did
do
take
music
years.
together. It was really hard.
Oh, really?
We would be horrible at communicating. Yeah. Back in the day.
give me an example. I'm
Oh, okay. I don't know. Let's say, for instance, like, you know, we would go and try and make something. And then, you know, maybe like, I would be like, oh, you know, here's my idea. And you'd be like, that's crap. You know,
Oh yeah.
there's not a good conducive, you know, communication of creating something together.
that's not
And
very,
and you probably thought like, well, I'm being honest. I'm just saying it's crap because it is. And isn't that better for the product? And it's like, well, no.
That hurts
You know,
even
it's better
more.
to say, I'm not sure if this is working. Let's try something else. You know, like the art of communicating to make
Building
something
people up.
together versus, you know, just like being direct. But I think we've gotten much better at it now.
True.
Oh man, I have to tell you, I was looking
Yeah,
at some behind the scenes footage.
What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
Sorry, what? I was looking.
No, nothing.
So I'm trying to archive some of my
okay.
old movies, little mini DV tapes, and I'm looking at dailies from movies that we filmed. And the unfortunate thing, I found an embarrassing revelation, and the revelation was how I directed Jake. It was awful.
Dude, man.
I can't
know.
believe it.
It was bad
I
times.
can't believe it.
It was
You
bad
were just a
times.
big
I was a big old meanie. He was walking, and I said, "Walk
Phil,
better. Go back. You're an idiot."
And also you
That's how it would go.
mandatory employed me, even though I had no say.
It's the old Hollywood system, baby.
I love it. It's like imagine Phil just continued with that, you know, and he
no.
somehow accidentally got into the Hollywood, and he would just be like,
Oh,
we would be
no.
reading on Twitter. It's
Oh,
like
I would come
it's like
out,
Scarlett
you know,
Johansson
court.
talking to like
Dude.
like the Phil Dragish was abusive. We were on set, and he would just go walk better, and if I didn't walk better, he would walk off set and just be quiet somewhere until the production designer or the line producer would come back in and get him in there.
And then I would be in court.
Stop.
Child
older
labor,
brother.
you know, like it's like, you know, it's like 3 hours. Children have to can only film for
Yep,
3 hours.
mine was
It'd be
like 10.
12 hours a day.
Yeah. See?
One take, everything.
Yeah. It's true. But it's true. A lot of work.
This is
Okay.
where we are
This is where we
Let's
are
talk
at the
about that movie.
podcast.
Yeah, this is the
Let's
Twofold
talk about
podcast.
what's your experience with Rian Johnson so far? Did you watch any other movies besides?
Oh
the
yeah,
Stable?
I think we watched all of his movies.
What?
Look, man, remember we watched Brick?
Oh yeah, that's him.
I watched
No
Brick
way.
with Jake, and honestly, I was half asleep watching it. All I remember
was
is
a good movie.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt lighting up a cigarette. That's all.
And the brick. Don't forget that.
And the brick. There was a brick in it too. So that's all I know about Brick.
There's a break.
Jacob, have you
Brick
seen
of
Brick? You've seen
cocaine.
Brick. You remember it, right?
Yeah,
Did
it
you
was
watch
good.
The Looper?
We watched The Looper.
Did. It was not great.
You didn't like it very much.
Hey, did we watch it together?
What didn't you like
or
about it?
Someone with Luke, I think.
With
Maybe.
Luke, our friend Luke.
You know, it's like one of those things where it's like it sounds like a good idea, and that's the thing about concepts. It's like you can have a good concept, but if you don't follow through the concept in a way that makes the most of the concept, then you kind of don't have something that great. And I think Looper is another example of that, unfortunately.
What does that mean to follow through on the concept?
Like actually make the concept really good and explore what that concept means in a cinematic
Felt
format.
like the concept was more interesting than the story it was telling.
Exactly.
Okay,
at
like
the end of-
the concept was a good idea, but it never was utilized.
Yeah,
in the
because for
storytelling
instance,
or
like you
something.
can have a concept like Looper, where what are you going to use that concept for? The worst things that it can happen, in my opinion, is where you have a concept. You don't want people to talk about the technicalities of the concept. That's the worst. That's like the lowest point, where it's like, oh, but how do they get to the future? How does that work? That's the worst. You don't want that. But what you want is you want someone to talk about, like, the concept is just a platform, and then you have something that's important. Tell something with that concept in the story.
Yeah.
And I don't know, to me, it just seemed like
it felt like
turned into
the
some
emotional
introspective-
story was
Yeah.
kind of like it wasn't as interesting as the looping.
yeah, exactly.
You know what's the interesting thing about like the concept stuff, like especially like sci-fi things or
High
any
concept.
action film, is that the concept stuff, if it works for the story, like most people, like 60-70% of people will talk like what you said, Jacob. Oh, was this real? Was it like if you ask somebody in your work, what did you think of a movie
Exactly.
like Looper? They will talk.
Oh yeah, they're
about
going
that.
to talk about the logic of
technicals.
it. Yeah.
But what's the interesting is like the logical stuff, it's influenced by the story, but they're not aware of it. So if the movie is satisfying, they'll talk about the concept stuff in like a good light.
That's right.
And they're not even aware of it. They'll like
They'll
the
take it for
movie,
granted.
Right.
Yeah, like the movie it's not satisfying as far as the story develops. So when you ask them, they'll talk about the movie's unrealistic.
You mean like
And they're not even
yeah.
aware of like the overarching, which is really funny. It's really interesting how they can latch onto these like super direct concepts, but never see the whole picture.
yeah.
Like they never learn how to like look at a movie like that, which is interesting. And the same, like the feeling is the same. Like you and them have the same emotion how you don't like the movie, but it's just the approach is different.
But you know what's
It's really
funny, Tim?
interesting.
The opposite side of this coin is that, which is my favorite thing to notice, is that in any kind of creative endeavor or finished product or anything, be it a movie or music or whatever, even design, for instance, when someone isn't talking about how it's made or the mechanics or any of that stuff, like you can see how well it's done. And it's funny because usually when they don't talk about it at all and they're just talking about the story or the characters, like that's really interesting to see, because then okay, that movie or whatever got it right, It's very fascinating to notice that, because as soon as like you have someone talking about the technicalities, then you know that the movie unfortunately hasn't succeeded, because that same individual would have been talking about the story and not the technicalities.
Yeah, like the movie was disappeared and it was just
Exactly.
the pure experience.
But it's very interesting to see that, because it happens with everything, I think.
Yeah. It depends on the people. Like if the people know movie making, they can go that with the
Not so much movie making, but just like I said, the concept in the movie, like we talked about.
like sci-fi stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's say like sci-fi. Like someone's going to talk about, well, why did that happen? And if it's really good, people will just take it for granted that that's part of whatever the movie is.
Yeah.
But then you have the next level,
Okay.
which is basically our Matrix Minute podcast. We love the story,
Yeah.
we love the thing, but you're just because of the format, you're forced to be in that element where you analyze every little.
But that's different because it was
bit.
fun. Because we weren't like, I don't think we were being like
Yeah.
mean or anything. It's a different perspective.
Yeah.
Morpheus is a charlatan, and he should be behind bars.
And I'm
Guys,
just talking about how this shot is great, and I don't explain why until the last episode.
Isn't there some Matrix podcast reunion they were
turned
supposed
you.
to do? How come we haven't gotten
What?
to that one?
It's time. We were
think it's
supposed to
time.
talk about the podcast. What are the future for about 3 weeks now? This is like the band, like this is the,
Yeah.
you know when you read when you're like a kid and you're like you read about this your favorite band. And then you read somewhere and it's like, oh, they made 3 records and they're touring, but they don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is that possible? How is that like what? They show up and they play and they practice and they make songs, but they never talk to each other.
It's possible.
Now I understand.
I
You're
guess
so
now
busy.
we
You're like,
understand.
let's just do the thing. And
That's great.
Zoom.
Yeah, so
true, though.
anyway, that's Looper. It was all
Knives
right. I
Out.
mean, it wasn't the worst, but and then some other film. I think Rian Johnson made a
me
movie
see.
for Disney, Lucasfilm, something like that. I think that's afterwards.
How is his name spelled? Ryan Johnson or Johnston?
Johnson.
Oh, Long Johnson. You know what?
Long Johnson.
He did some Breaking Bad episode, but let's talk about
Oh, he did
Knives
some
Out.
Breaking Bad
Okay,
episode. Yes.
I'm ready for Knives Out. So
Let's talk about Knives Out.
So
Knives Out is pretty awesome, I would say.
I like
Nice.
how energetic it is. Also, it was difficult for me to be excited to watch it at first because the trailer was like it's a whodunit, and so when I hear whodunit, you know what that is, like.
yeah, I don't know why you
it's
got
it's
so
in the
hung
title,
up on
right?
the whodunit thing.
Who
so.
farted? Yeah.
So I thought it was just going to be people sitting around.
You never got the energy?
Because I just watched the trailer, and for me, I thought it was going to be just people sitting and the detective asking them questions, and we see flashbacks, and then
That's true, I
you
thought
figure
so
out
too.
what because it's a whodunit, you figure it
Really?
out.
That's what I
But
thought
when
too,
we
yeah.
watched the movie, I was so surprised that we went into a direction I didn't expect, and I liked that
Me
a lot.
too. Same.
That's really strange because we might have seen different trailers because what the trailer told me is like there's so much more to it. It's not like I felt like this is like a door's opening and it's like come see like there's all these interesting there's going to be a lot more to it than just the people
Well, look, I'm
talking.
not I'm
So is it
I'm
funny
not a
that-
very good mystery watcher or mystery figure outer at all. I'll just let you know that I'm stupid.
I was so excited for my
I know.
I wanna
This is
hear
your
this.
We
favorite
were
type of
talking about
movie.
that with Jake,
we were
and
watching,
I was
yeah.
talking about that with Jake when we were watching it. We were like, I wonder what Emma thought,
Yeah.
because Emma has
I have
like Tim's
has a-
what Tim's
has an
wife
acute
Emma.
Yeah, she has a
sensibility.
sixth. Yes,
She has a very
she has the sixth.
go.
sense.
Okay, fine. I'm trying to explain, but
Okay,
you
we'll stop. We'll stop.
Okay, you explain. I'll stop. Go.
Okay,
You talk.
Emma,
You talk
Tim's
about
wife, has an acute sensibility of figuring out plots before they finish. She can see things before they happen. And she's very, very clever and always is trying, for some reason, her brain just goes one step ahead and trying to think of what will result in stories, especially mystery stories. She loves that stuff, according to you.
She read a lot of detective
Read a lot
mystery
of
books when she
detective
was a
mysteries. I
young
remember her
person.
mentioning that on our Matrix podcast when she was on there. And this was rather fun because it goes into various directions that you kind of don't expect that to happen. And that's why we were thinking, oh man, I wonder what Emma was thinking.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I have to say that I am super proud of one thing because I watched it in cinemas and then I watched it with my wife, so I already knew what was happening and I knew the exact moment when I figured out the twist.
Okay.
When was it?
It's right before she's going to confess, and he's in the next room.
Mm-hmm.
They figure out the thing that it was the fake pills and that he killed himself, right? The real story.
Mm-hmm.
And that the other guy hired him, like Captain America.
That was in that in that big room, right? Where the whole reveal.
And she's going back and she's going to reveal. But that was before the
before the
reveal.
reveal.
She's going to go, and then he calls her back because he figures it out. And about 5 seconds before that,
right.
I figured it out.
Really?
I was like,
you mean when she
I think I got
gonna
it.
confess to the family? That's what you're talking about.
Yes, that she killed. And then he stops her, right? And she's going to confess them, and that's when I was like, oh my God, the pills were switched. It's hit like the whole
Really?
thing.
Wow.
Right? And I had this moment. I was sitting
No
next
way.
to Tabitha and I was shaking her. I was like, I know what's going to happen. And it was like, and I was like, I figured out before the movie told me, and I was super proud.
Wow,
And
excellent.
I'm watching with Emma, and I'm like, is she going to beat me to
Oh,
it?
let's hear it.
Before me. And nothing. That scene starts, and she looks at me with her mouth open. I'm like, yes,
Oh,
we're
you
meant for
guys.
each other.
Man,
Same time.
that's
We
amazing.
figured it out.
You
Wow.
got up to her speed. It's just like Ford v Ferrari. That
She's the best. She taught me. She taught me
taught you
the
the ways.
of plots.
Guys,
Yep.
Wow, man, you guys are
Mine,
pros.
yeah. Well, I'm very stupid when it comes to this.
What do you mean?
I didn't figure it out. I didn't even think about it. I was just watching the movie, and at the
Yeah.
end, when the detective was talking to
Yes. James
yeah,
Bond.
he's explaining everything.
Southern James Bond.
Yeah, Daniel Craig was explaining the whole thing. I was just waiting for someone to say who it was. I wasn't even thinking. That's me. There you go. I didn't
Listen to
even.
this. You guys will
I
find
didn't even
this
play the game.
funny.
I wasn't good at it.
The one
I mean,
he
you guys
pulls
know
her
me.
back.
Sorry, Jacob. You're a
No,
little
it's
quiet.
okay. Go. Oh, I'm
Oh,
quiet, really.
you know me, right?
Oh, no, you
Boost
yawn.
me
You
on
take
the
me to
thing.
you take me to a
Better
what was
place.
that? Escape room, and I'm useless. So
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's true. It's true.
I'm not good at this.
Play with
I'm
drums.
not
You guys
good at
want to
this
know
at
what
all.
I thought before she confesses and he pulls her
What was
back?
your theory?
Listen to this. You guys will think I'm insane. You'll think I'm a sad man. He pulls her back, and he's so like in a rush to do this, and something is happening. I thought to myself, oh crap, because I was a little bit skeptical about Captain America, but not like overly skeptical. I was like a little bit skeptical.
Something's going on.
Yeah, something's going on. But I thought maybe this is the story. Maybe it's like the story's about her, being in a situation, not knowing what to do, and you just don't know what to do, and you just have to just trust whoever is willing to help you. And obviously, they're going to want to cut and stuff like that, like more of a,
I thought it was going to be
real
like
world.
that too.
Yeah.
And listen to this. So I thought, well, if that's the case, when he pulled her back, I thought, well, Daniel Craig, the detective, is actually a con man, and he's going to con her, and he's gonna use his clever, way of thinking to somehow totally like just steal all her money and to frame her, in front of the family. So then that way, somehow he would get away with everything, and that's the end. I thought that's the end of the movie. Like,
Okay,
it's
okay.
over. Like, it's just about this con man who just, ruined everything. And
Oh, he's like he weasels himself into this
Exactly.
thing, and so he gets money. Okay.
that was my prediction.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think it's a good movie. I like the movie.
Yeah, it was a
it's
good movie.
When you watch it the second time, it's like there's a lot of reveals and foreshadowings and things.
That's interesting. I was wondering if it's good watching a second time, but that's good. To know.
Yeah. There's lots of little bits because it's one of those movies where everything's there for a reason. Like every piece of dialogue, every piece of like what you're seeing, frame, what people are doing, it's all tied.
Right.
Like it's like a movie that it was thought through and constructed. So it's really nice.
Right.
It's one like it's one of those like it's constructed for the journey for the first viewing, right? So it takes you on a certain paths. It kind of weaves you, and it's also constructed for the second time you watch it. You get to see the little pieces that, if you're really smart, you can pick it up, from beginning.
That's very
Like
cool.
the helper putting in the weed and all this stuff, like all the little clues. And I think like what helps is that when you're watching it, like you can
Oh, what was the weed?
start
That was
picking
the
up
paper.
It's been a while, but I think they're like, the other not the caretaker, the cleaner of the place, and she hid her weed there,
Yeah.
and that's a couple cool clues beforehand. I think it was giving you like a sense of what to look after, and it's been a few weeks since I watched it, but I remember watching it a second time. I was like, okay, if I was really smart, I would have figured out 10 minutes in if I would have seen these clues.
But I think overall, my favorite probably part was that it wasn't the typical kind of plot that I also expected. It did go in a different direction, which was really nice to see, and it was an entertaining.
Also, I was
movie.
Yeah, I was complimenting the cinematography when we were watching it. I really liked that there was no teal filter and there was no glow, and some of it felt like I filmed it on my Sony PMW EX1 camera, which
Pretty sharp and crisp.
yes, which is what I kind of liked because I was so sick of seeing movies that are, you know how every HBO, every Netflix film seems to all gel together because they all look the same.
Just like a one LUT.
Yes,
put it
yes,
there,
one
and
LUT.
then-
They put it always. It's always like that weird gray, like peachy color with teal and something or other, and then
It's
desaturate a
interesting
little
that
bit.
he used the same DP for every movie,
I'm not surprised.
including Star Wars as well.
So another thing that
movie.
me and Phil would agree upon is that Daniel Craig seems to be
Yeah.
an amazing actor. At, like everything except James Bond. Because in my opinion, he did a great job with the Casino. He does a great job acting, in all the Bond films. But it was good to see him in Casino Royale because he embodied a different kind of James Bond. But then after all those other, James Bond films,
Yeah,
it really does. I agree. Phil mentioned like that. It feels like he's not even, tapping into his potential. He's so limited as James Bond, the character. And you see him in all these other movies. He just does something different. I think he was also
eccentric, interesting, funny stuff.
he was also the voice actor for the villain in Adventures of Tintin from Peter Jackson.
No, it's Steven Spielberg, man.
Or no, sorry, Steven Spielberg. I'm sorry, Peter Jackson was a producer or something.
I really don't remember that movie. That was
It was a
movie.
CG film from Steven Spielberg, and
It was a nightmare.
It wasn't. I don't think it was good. But listen, Daniel Craig played the villain, and the voice acting was again very
Dynamic,
he's trying a totally different character. And then when he started speaking this film, I was like, wow, that's cool. He's doing something again, very different, which very cool.
He did this accent before in Logan Lucky, but I think it was much better here. There's another movie where he plays a southern Logan Lucky. It came out 2017.
Haven't heard of this.
It's got like Channing Tatum, Adam Driver, and Daniel Craig. They're like trying to rob this place. It's just pretty interesting.
Okay.
Who else did I want to mention?
So what else did
But
you
yeah,
guys think?
Oh, yeah. So the entire time, you won't believe this. The entire time, the actor who plays Harlan, the author.
Yes, the old man who dies.
The entire film, I was like, wow, Max von Sydow is this his last film? Is this his last movie? Max von Sydow has a pretty good English-American accent. I'm trying to, and I hear a little bit of that Nordic accent from him. I'll slip it by once or twice.
Yeah.
And then the credits roll, and it's Christopher Plummer. And I thought it was like,
But yeah,
oh man, I couldn't distinguish. I didn't know. It was like, what an embarrassment. What an embarrassment.
that's okay. Yeah, Christopher. Well, I think the first time I kind of noticed, because there's a lot of these older gentlemen, these old people who are playing in.
Dude, yeah. Peter,
in the Hollywood
Peter
movie.
O'Toole, Christopher Plummer, Michael Gambon, Max von Sydow is gone now, but so is Peter O'Toole.
I'm trying to think of like what did I notice? What was the movie that
You had the same
made me
problem
aware of?
with old people?
I think like he was like like that was a couple of like years back when I was confusing them. So at this time when I was watching, I knew who he was. But I'm trying to think what was the movie that made me like distinguish. Like, oh, this is a different actor than the other old man.
The other old man.
But yeah, old man. I love the movie. I think there was amazing casting choices. I think everyone did a super job. It's fun, even for the mystery part, but it's also fun for the characters. Like you do enjoy like the ensemble of like the characters that play, how they interact. Like they have so many good lines of dialogue. There's weird
Jamie Lee
jokes
Curtis.
that are like super contemporary with like politics and like
Oh yeah, that
like
was
references to things. It was just it was like because it was a classic like like who done it right in this classical setting of this manner. And then they're just like weird like super contemporary like references everywhere. I think it was like a good good like bundle of things. Like it's a really good experience watching it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it
It's
thoroughly.
Yeah, I think that they also. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, if we did this 2-movie format, obviously the next movie would be Cluedo.
They made a movie
Yeah,
about Clue?
1985, I think, and it has Tim Curry in it. It has Christopher
1985.
Lloyd in it,
Wow.
and it's a mystery. And it's like,
I would watch that. I've never
I
seen
know.
that. It's Christopher Lloyd is in
Yeah.
there. What? This looks amazing.
Well, I guess that then I guess just to follow up a twofold podcast episode will just be Clue. We got it done.
call it a day.
Awesome.
Call it a day.
day.
So yeah, you guys watched
I
it
hate
fresh.
when I look up. I hate when I look up movies on Wikipedia. All I get is just the poster. It's so annoying. Anyway, I wanted to say that I like too the setting of the movie because it was, like you said, it's contemporary time, but the setting is a little bit more
Not California.
Yeah, not California. It's like there probably are families that live like this. So it's like it was very kind of cool to see how everything was a little more eccentric. I personally didn't like that they included some of that contemporary political stuff. I think that made no sense.
I thought it was funny.
But I think that
Because
I think that like the rest of the whole setting
come on, Jim,
was great.
you definitely were in a situation where you saw people arguing about stuff like this.
Especially family
Yes.
members, because I think that's inevitable. I think like family members, especially, always have this sort of,
No, I agree with the situation. I'm just saying that you always risk. I don't know. When you get a little too contemporary, you risk dating stuff. And I think that if you can avoid that, it's better. Maybe replace it with some other kind of argument. Something more, I don't know, broader.
I think for this movie, it was used very sparsely, and it's sort of just a
It was,
flavor
it
on
was.
top. So even when you watch it later on, it won't ruin it. It'll be looking at it. Oh, that was the
Maybe
talk
the
of
lens.
the
Yeah, it didn't.
day.
It wasn't.
of
It was.
that
No one
time.
mentioned Trump or anything, which is great because if you watch
Names.
Transformers 2, it's like Barack Obama has been taken to safety.
I remember
Yeah.
that. And they were making fun of George Bush, I think.
Oh,
in
that's
all
right.
three
Yeah.
Transformers
In the first one.
movies. And it was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like so blatant and so bad.
They
cheesy.
didn't name drop. They just kind of like the issues were mentioned. So I think it'll age okay because it doesn't really affect the story at all. It's just the flavor.
That iPhone
Yeah,
that I
honestly,
watch
it's such a
won't.
brief
The Apple
moment.
Watch.
But yeah,
What?
I like that they had the whole setting of the different the different characters. It's actually just a really good it's a really good constructed movie. Just because of the fact that, like I said, you watch it and it was nice to see that you don't really know, what to think is going to happen next. And also you don't know what the tone of the movie is, because I thought for the longest time the tone might be, honestly, the opening shots of the film, to me, I was like, oh, this is going to be maybe a little bit creepy.
Because of
maybe
the
like a creepy
spooky house.
What was it, like
Because
the
of the spooky
orchestral sound
house.
and the dogs running? That was the
I
opening.
don't know. It was like a lot of shots of the house, kind of like
Yeah,
wide
yeah.
angle
There was a
shots.
And the
classical music
statues.
playing, and there was like Clash of the Hearts, and there was like
Yeah.
dogs running and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, maybe this is gonna be a little too intense. And then the movie, reveals its tone, and you're like, oh good. I was like, this is good. This is like mystery, adventure, stuff like that. So that's what I liked about it, personally. It was a fun film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are the freshest. Do you have anything else to say before part our ways? Jacob goes on holiday.
Oh, Jacob going on holiday.
That's right. Going on holiday, super excited, man.
I'm glad you get to go. You get to
Just
have
can't wait.
peace.
Can't wait to wake up and live in peace.
Wake up and fall asleep again.
Exactly. I mean, that's the human way.
Yes.
That's the
You
goal.
wake up and
The freedom to fall asleep again.
Yeah, that's true. Fall asleep again as well. Tim, you're done with your vacation, right?
Yep. I had a week of vacation of biking around.
Actually, do you think
But I thought
that?
you were going to take 2 weeks off.
No, just one.
Actually,
Just
do
one.
you?
You're done?
Yeah, I'm gonna
This
save
year?
it. I'm gonna save it for like a cabin or something like that.
Do you a cabin? Yeah. Do you think that? Oh, I forgot. Never mind. I was gonna say something.
Yeah, bikes are awesome. My ass hurts like a maniac.
I remember those days.
Well, the good thing is that, I like bikes. I like music. When you combine those two.
I like turtles.
I like turtles.
When you combine those two, I'm trying to make a mysterious message for our listeners.
Oh, yeah?
Tim will know.
If you like music and you like bikes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But
shit, not bikes.
That's right.
Wrong.
If you like running and music.
If you like running, thank you so much.
If you like running and music, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
What?
Yeah, running music, good things.
Okay.
No, but bikes are good, man. I like bikes. I'm gonna go get the special like underwear for bikers because my ass is like in pain.
Good, you should.
I need to get special underwear for bikers. I mean,
just sitting on your chair.
I would love to get a bike. I don't know. Like we talked about this last time.
Get a bike. It's. I mean, I don't know how what the bike trails are. I mean, the bike lanes.
Dude,
are
it's so nice.
But
there's so much opportunity for biking.
Because here it's like,
surprisingly though, honestly, there's a lot of bike lanes. I have to say, if you're saying there's not that many in Bratislava, I'm surprised.
Oh man,
here
it's pretty
much everywhere.
Yeah, everyone's biking.
Like there's a bike lane.
That's good. That's really good. Like,
I always forget because I sometimes walk on the bike lanes. I forget. I'm like, whoops.
Oh, you're one of those. Gonna get
one
smashed.
of those.
But I was careful.
No, like I'm observant and I see, but the problem is that I'm on the bike lane and the biker is on the walking lane.
Ah, see, that's true too.
The old switcheroo.
Non-rule followers.
Yep. Madness. There's a lot of madness going on.
Oh! I have a pet peeve to say before we close.
Yes,
I absolutely hate when bicyclists think they're a car and they ride in traffic.
Oh.
If you do this, you're an imbecile and a moron, and you need to stop immediately.
No, but that's what the laws are. They're not supposed to ride on the sidewalks. They're supposed to ride on the on the normal road.
It's awful, Tim. When you're driving, what the crap? Stopping in front of the light, like your traffic, you're slowing down everything.
Those are the laws.
No.
Sadly.
Those are the new laws.
The laws
I
are shit. The laws are shit. I don't care.
But then you have to have bicycle
it's a
lanes.
horrible rule. Okay, but then ride on the sidewalks. Better that than traffic. Very simple.
In here, it's illegal to ride on the sidewalks. You have to get off the bike and
that's horrible.
I think that's dumb. I'm sorry.
So
I agree with Jacob.
It's so dumb.
Not being a biker or a driver,
sorry.
but
it's horrible. I'm not sorry. I'm not apologetic. I've seen it so many times, and I've driven with bicyclists, and you're just like, what the crap? Like, who even allowed this?
It's one of those things. It's like, it's an unsolvable problem. Basically, when I'm a driver of cars, I hate bicycles because it's super scary. A lot of times I hit them, especially when you're out of town and we're going like 90 and the bicycle's going like 30, and then you're going like up a hill on a curve and you're trying to, overtake the bicycle.
And there's the details are. It's just bikes don't belong on the road with traffic.
It does matter. If you're in the city and you're going 40 and he's going 20, it doesn't really matter because it's not much of a hassle. But if you're going 90 and you're overtaking a bicycle person on a hill,
you can, but it's just
you either slow down and you risk somebody hitting you because going from 90 slowing down to 20, or you overtake them in a really situation that you shouldn't be, and you'll hit another car.
Yeah.
So there's the other thing.
Okay.
And then from the other perspective, I'm a biker as well now for the week, and it's like I want to ride the actual lane on the road because there's people who are stopping without looking on the just normal pathway. It's super dangerous because I'm so much faster than people walking. It's really dangerous. I shouldn't be driving there. So I'd rather be driving on the actual road with the cars because that's where I should be. That's the law. That's the bicycle is a moving vehicle. So it's like I see it from two perspectives, and I have no idea what the solution is, man.
All I'm saying
Unless bike
is
bans.
Okay, maybe, but I'm just saying that I just don't agree with the traffic thing, honestly, just from experience and seeing it, and especially when people are on the road with traffic bicycling, they're not even looking. They think they're just like an impenetrable car. They're like, yeah, I'll just cross, go through the crossroads. Like, it's good. It's like, you're not a car.
You're not a car.
But they were there before cars.
They were there before.
Oh no, horses. We gotta get into horses. Have them have a say in this.
The argument from history.
It was the horses and the bicycles, and then the cars came. They were slow, and then they never adjusted the laws because they were all slow.
You keep forgetting our main man. You keep
solution
forgetting the streetcar.
Oh, that's true. These old
streetcar.
It's all
Yeah.
like Amsterdam. It's
Rice-A-Roni.
amazing. Everyone's going super fast. There's cars, there's streetcars, there's pedestrians.
Well, let's see
It's
this.
just like
Now you made me curious to see what the laws are about these bikes.
check what the
Okay,
laws
listen,
are.
I think
laws
that
are
as
your
fascinating
country.
as this is, I have an epilogue for my directing experience.
Okay, go ahead. Let's finish off with
All right,
Phil's
let's finish
direct.
off while I look at the
with
rules
a positive,
of the road.
with a positive,
Check the
with a
EU laws.
positive thing. I did 2 movies for film school, and I was the director for that. I was in charge of like 5 crew members. You know, we have a co-producer. We had we didn't have a DP, but we had like someone who was in charge of camera, not
Just
a
camera
cameraman, but
operator.
a camera operator. We had other people who would be helping and just being hands on set. And I was directing. I was 15.
You didn't have any
Everyone else
sound?
was around 18 or 19. Yes, no, we didn't. You know what? The sad thing was with that sound is that we used just the camera sound. We didn't have a boom. But we did bring some lights, and I helped out trying to put them on.
People always forget about the sound.
Yes.
I know, and this was 2004, so I mean, you'd think we'd have better sound or something. I don't know what the deal was. Honestly, it was very much of a blur. But what wasn't a blur was that I do remember that everyone had a pretty good time, and I was very gracious and generous. And the main character in the movie, she was a little girl, and she told her mom, "This was really fun. I think I could get into acting," and it was really great working with Philip. And and it made me feel so happy to hear that.
And that
So,
little girl is now Anna de
Scarlett
Armas,
Johansson.
and she starred in Knives Out.
Yeah, and she stars in Knives. That's true. That's all 100% correct. That is
Wait, well, how old is
absolutely-
she? How old is she? She's born in. Okay, no, she's our age. Can't be her.
No.
Okay, so I found the rules.
But I just wanted to say that later on in life, I did some tests for some movies that I wanted to make that still didn't happen. Shut up! Don't judge me. I remember that we also had a really nice time, and I did everything I could to make it easy and fun for the actors involved. That's
next
my
step.
story.
That's good.
Next episode is going to be Jake and Tim intervention of getting a Phil to make a movie.
Yeah. Okay. Listen,
Let
I
me-
found my laws.
It's going to be painful, Philip. But we're going to
No,
get
don't. No, I don't want. No,
It's going to.
everybody-
Tim, I think the
everybody
next-
vote and say no
It's gonna
and leave me
hurt.
alone.
No,
We're
I
going to
agree
get
with
to the
you. Say no,
nitty gritty
because I
details.
I believe
No,
that
no,
Phil-
no, that's not
Phil
fair.
needs to intervene himself to make a movie. I think that's the only place it starts. Listen,
That's
I found
how it works. Give me
I found
give me
my
a second.
laws.
Okay,
I
fine.
know I
What-
had
what
10
laws?
years. Shut up.
Where are you going, Phil? Okay, give me a second.
I said, give me a second.
I thought you were
Yeah,
leaving
yeah,
the
yeah.
podcast.
No, he's giving
no.
give him a second.
Okay,
For the
one.
movie, yeah.
Okay, so here we go. This is for Croatia. So it says mandatory use of cycle lanes if they exist.
Mm-hmm.
It is prohibited to cycle on highways and roads for motor traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And in towns, it is
the
forbidden to
point for
ride on the
Jacob.
sidewalk among pedestrians.
Yep, told you.
But look,
Point for Tim.
can't ride on the road. Prohibited.
Can't ride on the road. Like I understand the highway.
just
What
read
does
that.
that mean? Like between where should they ride? then?
Autobahn?
So it is prohibited to cycle on highways and roads for motor traffic. That means any roads that have cars on them.
So if you
Can't
want to go
ride on
from one city to another city on a bike, you can't use the normal roads.
Guess not.
How would one do that then?
I don't know. I'm reading this bicyclist blog.
Okay.
It
wonder
says,
what it is in
Croatia is an
Slovakia.
excellent backdrop for any cyclist. Road, off-road, touring,
Backdrop.
exploring. Honestly, I don't know how this works. It must be very difficult being a bicyclist. A conscientious and nice bicyclist.
Let me see
Huh?
this. Let me
Difference
see in Slovakia.
between douchebag cyclist. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm
Because
very angry.
I know outside of city you have to have a helmet and you also have to have a vest.
Yeah, here it says mandatory use of reflective gear and front and rear lights in conditions
Yeah.
of reduced visibility. Mandatory use of helmets for under 16.
Oh, it's not mandatory.
No.
It's recommended.
Oh, it's the whole Carl Pilkington argument with Ricky Gervais.
Oh, dude,
You can
I am
have
on, Carl's side.
0.5% of alcohol.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah. Where's the? I want to know the roads. This is
Yeah.
stupid. Some blog post I found as well. It's just nonsense.
I'm very confused, actually. No.
I have some news.
Okay, what's up,
This is the
Phil?
last point. It says
I have
notice-
some
yeah.
rice that was sitting for a day and it's cold, and I'm going to make fried rice.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job,
Thank
Phil.
you.
Go
Nice.
go eat your rice.
Okay, I think we're done.
I'm gonna go to bed. I think.
We're going to bed.
No, not like.
This is the best ending. The unresolved bicycling
Yeah.
laws.
Yeah, we don't
What
know.
are you guys
What are your
talking
laws of bicycling laws? Do you
Yeah,
listen
tell us,
to
what
Do you
are your
listen to
laws?
our podcast Bicycling? I listen to I
Who
listen
do you
to
agree?
Roger
Do you agree with
Deakins.
Jake? Who do you agree
Roger
Oh,
Deakins'
man.
podcast is such a delight. I'm learning so
It's
much.
so good.
Guys, I
Tim,
think that
it's
you
so
and Tim-
great.
Can you guys do? Hey, I have a great solution. Do you guys
Oh,
want
what?
to do a special?
Sure.
You and Phil and you do a special where you talk
About
about
what?
just Roger Deakins for 2 hours in his
some deep-
podcast.
It's actually it's solely useless information because I'll never work on movies, but it's so delightful to finally understand what terms are
yeah.
and how it works. And the best thing that I realize is that you think like Hollywood and it's like there's one way of doing movies. What I learned is like every movie is completely different. Like how everyone approaches, how a director, how the DP, how the producer, everyone has their own way of approaching a movie. And in the end, it's just a product that comes out at the end. There's no right way of doing it, which is
Yeah,
pretty
and-
crazy to me.
That is pretty insane, and I feel like what's even more insane, and many people have said this, is that how many movies get made and finished, right? Like, how incredible is that?
Oh man, I agree.
And some people who are good communicators and good artists and everything, like there's a lot of like unspoken, or just let's just get to it. Like there's a vision, we're all
yeah.
working on the movie,
Yeah.
and once that breaks down, you have great ideas, just like
Poop.
when people stop caring and they're not following the one vision, it just all goes to
Yeah, I think caring
Yeah.
is the correct word.
yeah, and that can be applied to any old thing you do
Mm-hmm.
in work as well. If people don't understand the end goal and they're not rowing the same direction, no matter what it was in the beginning, it might just
No.
sploosh baloosh.
Sploosh baloosh.
All right, Jacob, you're the host. Finish us up.
Oh yeah, that's right. I am the host. Cool. So thanks for listening to this awesome episode where we covered all the way things from nostalgia zone to bike zones.
And you weren't even here at the beginning when we talked for half an hour about user experience design. So
That was
Oh
good.
yeah,
That
we
was a good
did.
use
We
of
didn't
space.
record it. Thank the
You
Lord.
were- well, yeah. Phil, checked out.
you were spared of that.
You were spared
just
of
have to
the
suffer
amazing
bicycles.
conversation of work, CEOs, corporate globalism. I was going to say corporate America, but then I realized that we're
That's
in
true, it's
different
true.
countries. So it is globalism,
Yep, exactly.
and just all kinds of stuff. So thank you for listening. I've been joined
Yes.
by Phil and Tim. Thank you for joining.
That's right.
And for surviving my anger and rants. And
the rants at the bicycle people.
the rants of the bicycle people, yeah. Just get me so mad, man. So mad.
I'm gonna bike all the way to Croatia.
Go find the laws, the EU laws.
That would be great.
I want to find out.
Yeah. I'll
'Cause
find
now the conundrum is even more confusing because if you're not allowed to ride on the road and you're not allowed to ride on the sidewalk, where do you go?
but maybe that's where they're angry, the bicycle men. So they're like
Oh, maybe they're protesting, so they don't want
they're
the road.
asserting their dominance on you in your car.
I
They're
still
like,
believe.
you
though,
won't let me
it's
ride
better-
anywhere. I'll ride on your windshield.
Maybe they should switch to motorcycles then.
It's true. They want to
Yeah.
use the legs. They want to get those big calves.
So thanks, guys. Yep, I think that's about it. I really don't know what to add. What do you guys want to add? Closing
Me either.
remarks.
I'm done.
Nothing.
I'm ready for the next
Nothing. So I
episode
hear-
in 2
So we're
weeks.
hearing that music, right?
Yeah. Once you come back from vacation, we need to do the Matrix episode for the Matrix
Oh,
Minute
please,
podcast.
let's do it. I'm ready. I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I have so much to say.
Talk about Bill Pope and Phil and Jake's going to
No,
talk
but
about
seriously,
Neo.
there is stuff to talk about because we have a. There was something recently that happened that we wanted to include in our Matrix thing, but I didn't write it down. What was it?
Who knows?
It was like 2 weeks ago
Matrix
there
is
was
released. Matrix is released in my local cinema.
That's what it was.
I
That's the
hate it.
one. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
You go watch
let's-
it. Go
let's-
watch
let's
it in
get
the
outta here.
cinemas, and then come back and report to us how it was.
Yeah.
How it
do
was.
that?
How was this movie that we spent a year and a half going through that you know everything about and you watched afterwards?
But I want you to describe to me the screen. How was it like on the screen?
How was it on the
What are the things that you noticed this time around?
Yeah, what did you notice this time around?
Yeah,
exactly?
this is true.
What new things have you noticed?
Okay, well, I think
Go listen to Matrix Minute if you haven't.
that when
Yeah,
I
it's a
said the
good-
music
good
was
show.
coming in, it wasn't coming in. Now it's
Patrick
it's
Williams
coming
was
up.
on there and he didn't tweet. Never mind, forget it.
Phil's still bitter about.
I'm still bitter about
the
it.
old.
It's okay. Look, I'm bitter for Patrick for other things. I don't like his videos anymore. He's annoying.
Oh,
I haven't watched his
All right.
videos. I haven't watched his videos since the Matrix Minute.
He
so.
shares his opinion as information, and it's just what do you want,
true.
Siri? Shut
I
up.
agree. Okay, let's
It's not.
end this. I'm done. Bye bye. I'm done.